Hi, I'm Phil Harbottle, and this is my 23rd video discussing 1950s British science fiction paperbacks. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now everyone knows that that is the title of a famous Hollywood film directed by Jack Arnold, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it's very well known. Not so well known is the fact that in 1954 John Russell Fearn published a brilliant novelisation of it. But this has become known in recent years because, in fact, the book has been reprinted in 2011. Now, here we see the original 1950s paperback and hardcover editions, published by Dragon Skyen. And here we see the 2011 American reprint, published by Dreamhaven. These American Dreamhaven editions are very impressive with the dynamic Bob Eggleton new front cover and a reprint of the John Richards cover on the back. Moreover, the book is beautifully produced, beautifully designed, as you can see, and it was designed by Robert Garcia, who is a noted American book packager. He did a brilliant job with this edition. Now this reprints Fearn's novel, and the individual chapters have got a still from the film. So there's chapter 1, there's Dr. Meyer discovering the fossilized prehistoric remnant, which opens the film. And each of the 9 chapters has a still from the film, which is a unique touch, and it makes this a very attractive edition. And here's the final chapter, chapter 9, the photograph there. Now, in addition to that, this particular edition, which I'm showing you here, is the limited hardcover edition, which has this unique page. There's Julie Adams, the star of the film, and she signed it personally, Julie Adams. And there's the gill man, the creature, and it's signed by Rico Browning, who's one of the 2 men who performed inside the monster suit in the film. And this is a limited edition, signed. Now there's another hardcover edition which is identical with this, which I'm not showing because it's exactly the same, except that it doesn't have the tipped-in title signed page. Now, I was privileged to be asked to provide the text for this novel, which I did, and I was also pleased to provide an introduction describing Fearn's writing career and how he came to write this novel. There we go. These new editions were a dream come true for me, since for more than 40 years I'd been busting a gut unsuccessfully to find an English publisher for Fearn's novelisation. But with the help of my Italian agent, Antonio Bellomi, I was able to have Creature from the Black Lagoon translated in Italian, in a nice Italian hardcover published by Ugo Malaguti in 1982. Sadly, Antonio died recently. He was an excellent agent and a famous author in his own right in his own country, and he's greatly missed. And after Antonio got the book translated in 1982, he also resold it in paperback in 1988 in this edition published by Garden Editore, again through Antonio's help. So it was published in a foreign language, but until Robert Garcia approached me, it had never appeared in an English edition. So I'm very pleased to see these books. Now, anyone with a good sense and good fortune to own a copy of either of the new American editions might feel they already know all there is to know about the book, but they would be wrong. Before making this video, I checked Abe Books for the current availability of the original Dragon editions. There were no offers whatsoever anywhere in the world for a copy of the Dragon paperback edition. Note this very significant point. I will be returning to it later. There were just 4 offers currently made for the Dragon hardcover edition. £375 for one without the dust wrapper, and 3 with the dust wrapper for £1,650, £2,740 and £3,288. All 4 offers were from well-known and respected rare book dealers, and in their descriptions they repeated the received wisdom, to wit, Creature from the Black Lagoon, hardcover, 1954, first edition, first printing. But is it the first edition? Well, no, it isn't. Now, I've spent a lifetime investigating and establishing the facts concerning all the books of John Russell Fearn. I've been especially interested in Creature from the Black Lagoon, and here are my findings. Point 1. The true first edition of Creature from the Black Lagoon is the 2-shilling paperback, published in September 1954. It had originally been announced for publication in the summer, but was delayed when Scion were taken over by Dragon Press. Point 2. The book was subsequently reprinted as the hardcover. Reprinted as the hardcover, as a new edition, priced 6 shillings, in February 1955, the following year. And here is my proof. Now, Whitaker's cumulative book list. Here we have the Bible of the bibliographers, collectors and rare book dealers. Whitaker's cumulative book list, the annual compilation of books deposited at the British Museum, now the British Library, to establish copyright on publication. Let's take a look at the 1954 edition. We'll check the author entries for Vargo Staton, and what do we see? Bear with me. There we are. See that. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Vargo Staton, Creature from the Black Lagoon, 160 pages, 2 shilling, Dragon Book Scion, 29th of September 1954. Where's the mention of the 6 shilling hardcover edition? It isn't there. Could this be a mistake? Let's check the separate entry listing the title. Creature from the Black Lagoon. And let's see. There we go. What do we find? Creature from the Black Lagoon, Staton, 160 pages, 2 shilling, Dragon Book Scion, no 6 shilling hardcover edition anywhere in sight. Now let's look at the 1955 edition. Under the author. Where's it? There we are. Staten. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Vargo Staten, Creature from the Black Lagoon, 160 pages, new edition. NE is new edition, 6 shilling. 6 shilling is the hardcover edition. Dragon Book Skyen, February 1955. Let's double check that with the title listing. With me, so we have it here. It's on the other side this time. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Staten, 160 pages, NE, new edition, 6 shilling Dragon Books Skyen. So there we have it. It's a 1955 reprint. Is that still not enough proof for you? Then consider this further evidence. I've discovered in my researches that in 1954, Fern's contract with Skyen was renegotiated and changed. Instead of providing 2 science fiction books a month, one as Vargo Staten and one as Volstead Gridban, it was changed to his providing just 2 books a month, with the type of book being decided at the discretion of the publisher. At Fern's request, the Volstead Gridban name was dropped, and Fern was asked to provide either a science fiction book, or a western, or a romance, or a detective novel, or to edit an issue of the British Science Fiction magazine. And so, going forward, under this new contract, we find Fern providing such books as these samples. They're not all of the books under his new contract, but they're the representative samples. And what do we see? Science fiction novels is Vargo Staten. Romance novels is Jean Bentley and Elizabeth Rutland. Westerns is Jed MacLeod. Detective novels is Nat Carter and Hugo Blaine. And the science fiction, British Science Fiction magazine as editor, edited Vargo Staten. Now, here's the clincher. Let's take a look at a Fern romance book that was published both as a paperback and as an attractive hardcover edition. The Loves of Lydia by Jean Bentley. There's the hardcover edition, 6 shilling, like the picture. Now, what does this prove? Well, if we look at it in Whittaker's, what do we find? What do we find in Whittaker's for 1954? Let's see there. Jean Bentley, Loves of Lydia, 168 pages, 2 shilling. It's a paperback edition. Right? Now, if we look in 1955, and this one, where's it? Where do we find it? There you see, Jean Bentley, same information, 168 pages, Dragon Skyen, but this time it's the new edition, 6 shilling, the hardcover edition, and it's published in February 1955. So there you have it. Absolute proof. Both Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Loves of Lydia were first published in paperback in September and November 1954, and then were reprinted in hardcover in February 55 the following year. But wait, there's more. Now, let's take a look at these 5 paperback first editions of Creature from the Black Lagoon. One is from Fern's own set of Vargo Staten titles in my possession. One is from my own personal set. Ignore the stuck-on author byline here. The cover had no author byline shown either by accident or design. One is from a set reserved for my daughter Claire. One is from a set reserved for my granddaughter Eleanor, who incidentally films these videos for me. Thank you, Eleanor. And one is from a set reserved for my grandson Arthur, who is presently obsessed with Star Wars films, but whom I'm hoping will one day discover written science fiction and enjoy Fern's books as much as I did as a youngster. Now, are all these books the same? The covers look the same. The back cover adverts look the same. But what happens if we look at the last book? No back cover advert. And if we have a look at the spines, you can see from the spines that all four of them have the spines printed with the author and publisher name in capital letters, but the last one has the title and the author and the publisher printed in small case. Yes, it's a genuine variant edition. There's no doubt about it, that is a variant edition. And I can tell you that it's a damned rare variant too. Over the last 6 decades, I've had and passed on to other collectors maybe 4 or 5 other paperback editions, but only a single one of them was the variant edition, which I passed to my best collector friend who had helped me greatly in completing my Fern collection over many years. I won't give his name to protect him from being pestered by bullion dealers with big checkbooks. For this paperback, in my opinion, is the rarest, is arguably the most valuable edition, worth far more than the hardback. So here we have the one remaining mystery. Which is the true first edition of Creature from the Black Lagoon? The more common capital letters edition, or the ultra rare small case edition? Your guess is as good as mine, but I've got one final observation. The hardcover Creature edition that dealers are asking thousands of pounds for is the first hardcover edition, and as such its value should not be affected by my revelation. In my opinion, it's worth every penny they are asking for it. It is very scarce, especially in good condition with the dust wrapper, albeit not as rare as they would like you to think it is. But what then does that make the true first edition paperback worth? The paperback, for which there are currently no copies whatsoever being offered on earbooks. This book is now fantastically rare, and the variant edition is the rarest of all. So unless you've won the lottery, I'd advise you to snap up the few remaining copies of the Dreamhaven American edition. It was quite a limited print run and can only increase in value. Right, the new Dreamhaven edition. What's very special about this edition is that it's got an introduction by a famous American author and film critic, which you see here, David Scow. And he's done a splendid introduction which gives all the historical background to the making of the film, and with the writer's insight It tells you all about the writing and creative side of it. And then more particularly, there's a full cast and credits list there, what you see there. And then there's an amazing 30-page photo section, which I'll just speed through so give you some idea of all the background behind the scenes photography and some stills from the film as well. Absolutely unique that this edition doesn't appear in any other film book or tie-in. Page after page, it's all annotated in David's introduction. There we are. That's it. So that is well worth getting. Currently it's only about $20, the price it was on sale at, but with a limited print run it can only keep going up. So I'd advise anybody to get that book now whilst you can. But if you're a die-hard collector and want to acquire a true first edition of Creature from the Black Lagoon, I wish you good luck. You're sure as hell going to need it.